Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to MTech Viral. So this is my second Python tutorial. So let's jump into it. So basically we will cover here lists and dictionaries. So earlier when discussing strings, we introduced the concept of a sequence in Python. And so list can be thought of the most general version of a sequence in Python. So unlike strings, they are mutable, which means that you can change, meaning the elements inside a list can be changed. So what we will going to cover is like how we can create lists, how we can do indexing and slicing of lists, basic list methods, nesting of lists, and we will do the introduction to list comprehensions. So that is something typical, but we will see, and it will become easy. So lists are constructed with these brackets. Okay, so these are square brackets, I guess. Yeah. So and commas separating every element in the list, like this a comma b. So this is how we will write this list. Okay, so now let's go ahead and see how we can construct lists. So we are suppose how we will assign the list. Suppose it is my list, and we can write here this bracket and 1 comma 2 comma 3. So this is the list which is a list of integers, but list can actually hold different object types in Python. So let's say we can also write like this. As I said that we can change this as well. Suppose a comma 3 comma 4 5.6. Okay, so one is string, another one is integer, and another one is float, and it is expecting that. So accepting that sorry. So this is working fine, and we can we can construct list with every element, so there is no such restriction with them. So we saw that it can hold different object types. So just like strings, we also have that length method here. So let's say just delete this, and let's try to find the length of this list. So let's run this code, and sorry, so it is 3. So we have run the python space test.py, and length is 3. So it is giving me the length of the number the objects inside the list. So it is 3, a 3 and 5.6. So now we will talk about indexing, and let's change our list a little bit. So let's say first one is 1, second one is 2, third one is 3, and fourth one is 4. Okay, now what we will do, we will grab the first element by using index 0. So my list 0. Okay, so let's try to print this, and we can see 1. Okay, so similarly you can see you can use 1 2 3 etc. And I already told you in my strings video that you can use the colon operator for this slicing. So let's try the slicing here. So when I did this, then you can see it skipped the first one and then colon up to so on, which means 2 3 and 4. Okay, so it gave me this. Now I want to grab everything up to index 3. So how I will write that? I'll write that by using colon 3. Okay, so now I will run this, and I can see it gave me 1 2 3 up to index 3, but not including that index, like 3 will not be included. So this is how it works in Python. And we can also use plus to concatenate list, which we saw in strings as well. So let's say we have a 5 as well. Okay, so now let's print this list again, and let's see whether it works or not. So you can see 1 2 3 4, it didn't work because we did not reassign it. So we should write my list before this so that we can reassign it. Now if we will run it, So you can see 1 2 3 4 5. So this is how we will use lists. Now you would we can also use the multiplication for a duplication method similar to strings. So let's say we want to make the list double. So what we will do, my list into 2. Okay, so now let's run it. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. So this just duplicated the list. So this is basics of lists. Now we will talk about some methods of list, right? Okay, so if you are familiar with another programming language, you might start to draw parallels between arrays in another language and lists in Python, because it is kind of similar to arrays. So list in Python, however, tend to be more flexible than arrays, which is in other languages, but here in Python we don't have arrays. So what's the reason for list in Python are more flexible? Because they have no fixed size, meaning we don't have to specify how big a list will be, and they have no fixed type constraint like we have seen above. Okay, so let's go ahead and explore some more special method for lists. So what if I want to append something in the list? So let's say this is our list and I want to append like l dot append. Will it work? So sorry, my list is equal to my list dot append. Okay, it is working. And let's append 5 again. Okay, now let's print it. You can see what I got, none, because we don't have to do this. Now let's try, and you can see 1 2 3 4 5. So what's the difference? You can clearly see that we don't have to reassign my list to append an item. We can just write my list dot append, and we can use this to permanently add an item to the end of a list. And this is fantastic. So one more thing which is interesting about list is that it is not available in other language, first of all. So like I can write my list dot pop. So what will it will do? So we can use pop to pop off an item from the list. So by default pop takes off the last index, but you can also specify which index. So I am specifying 0 here. So let's try once. So it gave me 2 3 and 4. So it just popped the first index. Let's say I don't write any index. So what it will do, it will pop the last one. So 1 2 3, it popped the fourth. Okay, so this is how we use pop here. Okay, so what we can do, we can assign the popped element. Remember, default popped index is -1, so we can do as well. And we can show the remaining list. So it should be noted that list indexing will return an error if there is no element at that index. For example, let's say I want to print the list index with 100. Okay, so there's no 100th item, so it will give me an error, that index error, list out of range, list index out of range. So this is what will happen. Okay, so this should be remembered before doing this. And what we can do, we can also use the sort method and the reverse method to give some effect to the list. Like suppose I want to sort it, then what I can say, my list dot sort. Okay, so what it will do, it will sort my list. Oh. So when I run it, what happened? It just gave me some error, none. Why? Because I can't sort it, because it have different object type. So let's say I remove this 4. Okay, now it has only strings. Now let's try it again. It failed. Why? What's happening? So we will try to look into it. So it how it will work, like I will write A, B, I should write C. Okay, and B. Okay, now let's try it once more. Will it work? No, it's not working. So why it's not working? Because we are trying to print the list by calling a method. So this is not how it works. So let's say what I could use like my list is equal to my list dot sort. Okay, now I can print here my list only. So now let's try this one, and again it failed. What's happening, man? So let's do not reassign this. So you can see it's sorted now. So basically what it means that we don't have to reassign for using any method in list like we did in append. So we can do this as well. Okay, we have another method like reverse. Why I'm using all these things? So that you can understand what we need to be do here, what is the difference between all of these. So when I'm writing reverse, it's just reverse the every item in the list. So what will happen in if we will use numbers, so for numbers it will go ascending, okay, by default, using that sort method. Okay, so this is about methods. We can also use nesting in the list. Suppose I can have another list here like 1 2 3. Okay, so this is list inside list, and if I will print this, what will happen? Let's see. So you can see A B C 1 2 3. Okay, so this is indexing. Now let's say I want to access this one. Okay, so what I can say, I can uh, suppose I want to grab first item of the first item in the matrix object. So I want that one. So basically this list have four items: 1 2 3 and 4. Okay, this is the entire 4, and this list has 3 items. Okay, so now I want to grab that one. This is what I want. So it is the index of my list, which is 3. Okay, 0 1 2 3, and I want the 0th of that. So then if I will run that, so you can see I get 1. So what you have to do, you have to first identify the which index is of the first list and then the second list. Okay, so this is how you can do these things. And now we can talk about list comprehensions. So let me write that first, the list. And this is how by using the hash symbol you can write comments. This is not visible, I know, but it is kind of gray, so that's why it is not visible. So now let's talk about list comprehensions. So Python has an advanced feature called list comprehensions. So what it is, so they allow for quick construction of lists. So to fully understand list comprehension, we need to understand for loops. Okay, so don't worry if you don't completely understand what I'm saying, and feel free to just skip it, since we will return to this later. So but in case if you want to know, so I am giving you an example. So let's build a list comprehension by deconstructing a for loop within a constructor. So let's say this is first underscore call first column, and let's write comprehension here. So row 0, okay, for row in I deleted that my list. So let's say my list is equal to, and let's just give few lists here. Like what I can write here, I can write 1 comma 2 comma 3, and another list with 4 comma 5 comma 6, and another list with 7 comma 8 comma 9. So we have a nesting of lists here. One is 1 2 3, another one is 4 5 6, and another one is 7 8 9. So there are 3 lists, and there is a my list which consists of these 3 lists. So how we will write this comprehension? We will say row 0 for row in my list. Okay, and now we can print first column. So what it will do, this is so much interesting, so I will cover it in later as well, but Let's see, first call, and now let's run this. So you can see the output is 147. What it did, it took all the lists, okay, it found out its row, and then it bring the first item. So from first list it called the zeroth, which is 1, second 4, and third 7. So it gave me 147. Let's say I want the first element from every list, so what I can do, row 1. So now let's run it. So 258. So isn't this interesting? So this are called list comprehension. So we used list comprehensions here to grab the first element first of all, and then the second element. So we will cover this in much more detail later on. So now let's move to another interesting thing, which is dictionaries. So if you don't know about dictionaries, you don't have to worry because we have been learning about sequences in Python. So but now we are going to switch gears and learn about mappings in Python. Okay, so this is related to mappings. So what we will do, so if you are familiar with other languages, then you can think of these dictionaries as hash tables. Like in objects in JavaScript are hash tables, and in Java also you have hash maps. Okay, so this is like dictionary in Python, and in C sharp also this is called dictionaries. So what we will now do, we will construct a dictionary, we will access object from a dictionary, we will do nesting of dictionaries, and we will perform some basic methods. So what are mappings? So basically mappings are a collection of objects that are stored by a key, unlike a sequence that stored objects by their relative position. For that we used indexing. Okay, so this is an important distinction between uh, mappings and sequences, since mappings won't retain order since they have objects defined by a key. So they have a key and a value. Okay, so a Python dictionary consists of a key and then an associated value. So that value can be almost any Python object. So it can be 1, 2, 3, Pavan, 4.5, anything. Okay, so let's see how we can construct a dictionary. So while constructing list, we used these brackets, okay, square brackets. Now for dictionaries, we will use this curly brackets. Okay, so let's say I have a dictionary, my dict. Okay, and now I have key value pairs. Okay, so let's say we have a key one. Okay, we will use this string format, and now I will print a colon, and now I will give the value here. So it is value 1. Okay, and then we will print comma for another element, which is key 2, and its value is, let's say, value 2. Okay, so this is how we declare dictionaries. Okay, so these are dictionary. So we can call the values by their keys. So let's say I want to print my second value. So what I will call, my dict, and I can call it by its key. So its key is key 2. So what it will give me, it will give me my second value. So it is value 2, if you can see here. Okay, so this is how dictionaries work. And so what it's important to note that dictionaries are very flexible in the data types they can hold. So for example, I can use in place of 1 2 3, I could use here 1 2 3 4. Okay, I could use a list here like 1 2 3. Okay, this is all fine with dictionary. Okay, so key will be always a string. You don't have to use 1 2 3 here, and uh, you can use whatever you want here. Yeah, like I can use 4.5. So these are all values. Okay, so you can use any object. So let's do something different now. So one more thing I want to tell you. So Python has a built-in method of doing a self subtraction or addition or multiplication or division, basically calculation. We could have also used plus equal to or minus equal to for for using for what I can say is concatenation. So like let's say uh, I have this is not about dictionaries. Like I have a is equal to 3 and I want to add 5 in it, so I can write like this 5. Okay, so what it will do, it will take a as 3 and then add 5 into it. So it is similar to a plus 5. Okay, so it is kind of similar, so you should be aware of that because I'll use these things later. So that's why I thought I should tell you. So we can also create keys by assignment. For instance, if we started off with an empty dictionary, we could continually add to it. Like suppose we have a dictionary D which is empty. What I can do, I can add elements to it. So let's say, suppose I am adding name as a key and I can add Pawan. Okay, so I have added one item. Suppose again I will add number and let's say it's 12. Okay, so this is another key and this is basically another object. And now let's say I am printing D. So what do you think, will it print? Yeah, so it is name, power and number 12. So this is about dictionaries. And now we can also do nesting of dictionaries like we did nesting of lists. So I'm not going to cover that, but uh, what I'll do, I'll just make a typical dictionary here, and you can try all these things by your own. If you stuck anywhere, then I'll definitely help you. So let's do some fantastic things. Like we have a dictionary with 3 keys here. So first one is key 2, oh sorry, key 1, which is having a value 1, and then we have key 2 and respectively key 3. Okay, we have this dictionary with which have 3 keys and 3 values. So what if I want to return all the keys? So what I can do, print d dot keys. Okay, so what it will do, it will give me all the keys. So there are 3 keys, key 3, key 2, key 1, and I'll just run this again to show you something. Let's try key 3, key 2, key 1, key 3, key 2, key 1. So basically what is happening here, it is returning the same order, key 3, key 2, key 1, but it is not necessary in case of dictionary that it will return the same order, because dictionary don't care about order. Okay, so if you somehow get the output as key 2, key 1, key 3, then also it is fine. Okay, because you have to remember that dictionary don't have any order. Okay, so this is the important point. Now if you want all the values, then you can write all the values. Okay, so it will return then values. So it is 3 2 1. Okay, so and one thing, we can also return tuples here. So what are tuples? We will learn about it. Okay, so what we can do, we can write d dot items and it will return all the tuples like key 3 3, key 2 2, key 1 1, and this is tuple which is used by this bracket. Okay, so we will cover this. So I guess hopefully you have a good basic understanding how to construct dictionaries. There's a lot more to go into here, but we will revisit dictionary at later time. So all you need to do is to create dictionary by your own and retrieve values from it, so that you can better understand this, because list and dictionaries are something we will use a lot whenever we will make a real world application. So this is all about this video. I hope you like this video, and I'll see you in the next video, and please subscribe to my channel for more future updates. Thank you.